everybody, it's James here at hellosaxophone.com. Welcome to another lesson. And this time I want to talk about how hard is it to play the saxophone. It's a question that I get a lot on YouTube, and I get a lot of emails of people saying, hey, I'm considering playing the saxophone, but could you tell me a bit, how hard is it? How long will it take me to get anywhere on the instrument? If I want to do this, how long will it take me? Well, it's a very difficult question. Is very relative, you know. Is it difficult compared to playing a trumpet or the violin or the piano, or is it difficult compared to being a professional tennis player or something like that? It really depends on what you're stacking it up against. But well, to start, in comparison to other instruments like the piano or a guitar or trombone or trumpet or violin, I would say that the trumpet or the saxophone is in the range of the harder instruments. Trumpet and violin have really the reputation that they're the hardest instruments in existence to really play at a high level, and that's true. Like a trumpet, in order to keep your tone, you need at least 3 hours of practice every day to get anywhere on that instrument, and otherwise, you know, don't even start, for example. With the saxophone, yeah, it's a one-note instrument. It's not as hard as a trumpet to keep your tone. With half an hour a day, you'll be able to get to a consistent good tone. After a year or two of putting half an hour a day in, you'll get a sort of a maturing tone, and it'll be kind of pleasant to listen to you playing. Before that, it will be kind of ill-advised to play a lot publicly, because the sound is just not nice enough yet for people to listen to, and that's a big difference. You know, a piano like this here, it has its own music inside of it. The notes are perfect no matter who presses the key, but with the saxophone it's really you creating the sound. So if you can't do it, it won't come out, and that's really something that makes the saxophone one of the instruments, like trumpet and violin, where it takes some time in the beginning to get somewhere, and once you get there, and also the journey towards is lots of fun, but in order to get there, it takes quite a bit of effort to be able to do anything where an audience will say, wow, that sounds really nice. Whereas a guitar or a piano, yeah, you can just learn some chords, and within a day you can play a song, and it'll be really nice to listen to it. You know, you can just play some chords, you know, and it's immediately it's like it's nice. Nice tones, nice music to listen to. With the saxophone, that takes a bit longer. But once you get there, it is an instrument where you know, people love the sound of the saxophone. The amount of people that comes, you know, that looks me up after a show and goes, oh man, I just love the sound of the saxophone, or oh, it's just one of my favorite instruments. This is things that you hear a lot when you're playing the saxophone. People really love the sound, but it takes some effort to get there. Now, as far as you know, studying music and technique and things, of course it's a one-note instrument. So also compared to a piano, which of course you can play many keys at the same time. Here you have a left hand and a right hand, so you've got a bass part and a melody part, so you're doing two things at the same time. Whereas with the saxophone, it's really a melody instrument, so you're not that concerned with harmony at all, with progression and bass lines. No, you're just there really for the solos and for the melody. So that eliminates a degree of difficulty right there. Although in order to really be able to play it well, you have to also still understand harmony. You just don't have to develop any skill on playing that on the saxophone, because it's just only suitable for playing melodies and solos, and you're only playing one note at a time, so you really have to focus on playing the right notes at the right time, instead of, you know, playing both the right notes on the melody side and also playing the bass part right. So in that regard, it's slightly easier, I guess, than playing a guitar or a piano or a contrabass or things like that. So yeah, I think that's really sort of the dimensions that I could talk about, as in how hard is it to play the saxophone. As far as other instruments go, really the violin and the trumpet are, I think, the hardest. All instruments, by the way, on a professional level, I mean, you can make it as difficult as you want. You know, any instrument can be incredibly hard to play, as in you can do things on any instrument where it would be incredibly difficult to learn these things. You know, there's people who play piano and the things they're playing are incredibly difficult to do. There's people who play saxophone that are doing incredibly difficult things. There's people who's playing guitar that are doing incredibly difficult things. So on that, really on the professional level, all instruments are equally hard. But as in starting an instrument, the saxophone is one of the more difficult instruments to get started on. On the other hand, once you've gotten started and you're sort of got into the groove and you're playing the instrument, it's a great, it's one of those magical instruments where any bar you walk into or wherever you start playing, people just love the sound of the saxophone, and they love bands that are accompanied by saxophone. They love saxophone solos, because the voice of the saxophone is very close to the human voice, to the sound that the human voice makes, and yeah, people love it. So I guess that's what I can say about how hard it is to play the saxophone. I hope I didn't demotivate you. I think it's a great instrument. I love playing the saxophone, and I can wholeheartedly recommend, putting in the effort and getting started on this fantastic instrument. And I hope this gives you some indication of what awaits and how much effort you're going to have to put into it. Thanks, and see you later at hellosaxophone.com.